Right, we're live.
Now we are live.
We're
Hello,
live, everyone.
Hello, Jan.
All?
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Jan.
Let's have a little look. See what. Can you see comments now? So this is a real sort of like playing with how we can get it to work.
Yes, I can see the comments coming through as well this time. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. So you can see comments in your comment section, ladies.
I can, yes.
I can see Jan.
Oh, fantastic. And you're live we're live to all three YouTube accounts.
So if anybody wants to check our YouTube accounts for us, whichever ones you're watching on, and just let us know that it's working, that would be great. Thank you.
It would be super handy.
Hi, Jill. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Heather.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, so
I need to I'm going to have to bring my mouse over. So, yeah. Oh, look, we've got the numbers are going up.
So we're just yay, high five. We've actually got on and we're all together at the same time.
Can I just tell you a little story as an introduction? 30 seconds ago, I managed to sort out the technical aspect of what I'm doing. So, whew.
Yeah.
And an hour ago, I managed to stain my teeth, my hands, and my gums, which hopefully now it's looking a bit better.
I really don't. Nothing's gone wrong for me. Touch wood. Oh, I don't
say that.
Don't say that.
Don't say
my
that.
Works, hopefully.
So, can everybody start sending us a few emojis as well? That'd be absolutely wonderful. Give us some thumbs up. If you can like the live streams as well, and let us know on whose channel you're watching it.
Yeah.
So Sandra's we should be live to all three.
And that's working. So hopefully on the other channels as well, Gem Hawks Jewellery and Katie Parker Jewellery. Have a little check. You can still come back to this one. Just have a little check and let us know they're working. Don't speak too soon. I know I really shouldn't have said that.
It's true.
No, it could all go wrong now. It'll be me if it's going to go wrong.
Oh, look at all those lovely hearts for us all. So I suppose what we should do is say who we are.
Yeah.
So a little bit of who are we all? Because we may not all have the same audience. We may have different people watching that have never seen any of us before. Who knows?
Yeah, very true.
So shall I go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
So my name's Fleur, as it says on the bottom, and I'm from Relax and Craft. And I've known these two lovely ladies for a long, long time. And I've been making jewelry since I was a little girl. And my main loves are chainmail and silversmithing, metalsmithing.
Who's next? Me?
After you, darling.
I am Katie Parker of Katie Parker Jewellery, and I adore these two ladies. Like Fleur said, we've known each other a long, long time. We've worked together for a long time. I've been jewellery making about 11 years, just after my son was born. My main medium is wire work, but then I also do crochet jewellery, seed bead jewellery, bit of everything really. I'll just have a go at anything. So yeah, that's me, and on to Gem.
Hello, my name is Gem. I used to take things apart when I was a kid, but I didn't really make jewellery very, very much. Although when I was 8, I started a business putting together really appalling, horrible jewellery from a mail order company, which was called Gay Charm. They don't exist anymore, not at least with that name. And then when it's about 2010, I started making jewellery. I set up a business to sell basically charm jewellery, and I found after about a year that I wanted a little bit more control, so I started making jewellery proper rather than just sort of threading big beads onto big silver chains, and I haven't looked back. My main work is in wire. I love smashing metal as well, so you can often find me with a packet of they're under an absolute mountain of rubbish at the moment, but packs of washers. I'm in love with jewellery made from washers, and I do love smashing metal flat. It's great fun. So thanks for having us all. This is our very first social evening. So if there are any minor technical hitches. Please do
Yes.
forgive us. And I'm going to try and get Fleur to share the True Blood moment photos that she shared with us earlier, because they were brilliant.
I can share them. No problem. I can share them.
By the end of this year, we will have outtakes videos, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely outtake videos. Hand on heart, I'm the most unprofessional one of all these lovely ladies. So it will be me that messes up, not anybody else.
I was editing a video earlier on, and quite often when I'm editing my videos, I find that I have to cut little segments where I talk utter rhubarb out and silence them and just move the words around so it all makes sense. And today, the thing that I had to edit out, I was just going and I listened to it about 9 times and I just cried. I just cried.
I know when in lockdown, when we all used to work together in our previous life, I had to learn how to edit very, very well, because I literally had terrible language on my videos, and I learned that I could edit and I could get it down to a fine art. And even one of our old directors went, "Your videos are really professional." I went, "Well, I can tell you something about editing, because I can edit out any swearing."
Mine are just full of sighs, like, that's not going to work.
Oh, John, ladies, can you pin comments on yours?
I don't.
Let me have a look.
I don't know. Let's have a play. Thank you, everyone who's checked on our channels and just had a little look and seen that we're actually live. I can't pin things now.
Oh,
no, I
can't
pin
so you
things.
Can't you can't.
What Katie said.
On your comments, if you click on the comment, you can only just see the comments. You can't
see the comment. You are in control, Fleur.
Ah, well, there you go. I am the director.
I do, however, have the capacity to put a user in timeout.
I can put you in timeout. I can literally put you in timeout. Yeah.
I'm not even looking how to do that, because I'll just do it accidentally.
Jill's looked at all of our channels and it's working on all of us.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Absolute superstar. Thank you so much.
So I think the next thing that we need to have a little chat about is how all this came about. And it's over to Jem, because this is Jem's brainwave to do this. So Jem, explain how you came up with this.
Okay, so we talk a lot, like a lot. The three of us are really tight, and it's just so lovely to have people in your life that you're close to. Some of the conversations we've had are not PG-13 rated, especially that thing that you shared. Was it yesterday or earlier on today?
Yes. No, we can't share that.
I don't blush. I am unblushable. I have had. Do you remember Ben in your ear saying the really, really rude things?
Yeah.
No problem at all. Completely can get through that. I blushed when you sent me that thing. So we're really tight. We share a massive passion for jewellery. And between us, we've got a fairly broad experience. I've probably got the least experience altogether, because I tend to glue my fingers together, set fire to stuff. I'm a bit rubbish, really. I'm a trier. And what I wanted to do was to bring together all of these lovely, over here and down here, lovely ladies, because we're a great resource. And I wanted that to be available to you guys. We're very sociable. We like a laugh.
We do.
And honestly, it's a free way of giving information out. I'm really passionate about sharing education.
Say as well, as 3 50-year-old ladies, can I just commend ourselves for actually getting on live all at the same time?
Yeah.
And making sure that this works. Because
honestly, I think
between the three of us, we have no technical experience whatsoever.
I was getting a tiny bit stroppy.
My Zooms, no, I don't do computers. I can just about work it.
Oh no, Marge has only just her internet's only just come back. So yeah, so carry on, Jen. Sorry.
Oh, thanks, Hazel.
You're all good. I just like hanging out with you, and I figured other people would like hanging out with you.
Yeah.
And as I say, between us, we have a broad wealth of experience.
Yeah.
These other ladies more so than myself. I just like to swack wire, to be fair. I like to bend it and make it do stuff. So between us, I think that we have a lot to offer you. And again, it's just a way to give something back to the community that have been so supportive of all of us.
Yeah.
So I've been sort of doing this kind of thing for 10 years now. Fleur, a little bit longer. Katie, about the same time, I want to say.
Yeah, about 11 years that I've been doing it. Yeah.
So we've got a lot to offer, and we're a bit of fun, a little bit of light entertainment.
Don't take anything too seriously.
Don't take anything too seriously.
No, we don't take ourselves too seriously.
So we're kind of here just to answer all your jewellery making questions or other questions. You never know what we're going to get asked, do we?
And this is what I love about it as well, is the fact that we're going to talk about crimps in a minute. And Jem straight away said, I'm going to do a demo because I do crimps different to you. Now, if you were watching just my YouTube live by myself, or Katie's by herself, or Jem's by herself, you've got one perspective. This way, you have three people giving different perspectives, saying, well, I possibly would do it like this, or, oh, I didn't know you could do it like that. And then how about if we merge those together? So I find that people find their jewelry making niche and techniques and that when they look at different people making together. And in the fact that you've got three people making together, and in future lives, we're going to be like challengers and challenging each other and pushing each other out of our comfort zones, you know. And no doubt at some point, I am going to have to bend some wire, which isn't involving soldering it. And I'm dreading it, to be quite honest. And if I'm ill from school that day, then you know why, because they're gonna make me do the wire work.
Yeah.
It's over there, just there.
Ooh.
But I did chainmail.
You did.
I made the three linky thing.
Chainmail. You've both done chainmail. But yeah, it's just really nice to sort of like be together, isn't it? And to sort of like learn together and learn from each other and everything else. Ladies, are you in your 50s? Did I hear that wrong? Oh, right then, you can come back again.
Yeah,
we're all 50, and we're all 50 within quite a close space.
All like in a few months, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'll be 51 next month.
Pardon?
I'll be 51 next month. I'm the oldest, I think.
I think you're the youngest, Fleur.
Am I the youngest? Am I the baby? That's why I'm the naughty one.
Yeah, I'm the middle child.
Yeah, you're the sedate one. Jem's the sort of like the pathfinder of everybody.
Yeah.
Katie's the one that is like, Katie's going to be the sort of like one that just says, gets on with it, keeps the peace, and I'm going to be the naughty one. I need ice cream all the time.
Yeah.
Right, let's have a look. If Jem teaches you wire, you can teach Jem chainmail. Well, I've already taught Jem chainmail. She's still not going to teach me wire. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
You absolutely can.
I can do it.
You absolutely can.
Yeah, I just need to get over my fear.
The only thing I really can't do is micro macrame. Oh,
well, there's a challenge.
Yeah,
I think you could do micro macrame. You could. I think you would find it quite easy. I think you would get the hang of it because you're crochet. I think you'd be all right.
If I get challenged, I will do it because I can't fail. I can't. I won't.
So if anybody doesn't know, these two lovely ladies also are inspiration designers for what I do in my proper job. So I sometimes surprise different mediums on them, and they've got a big surprise coming next month and a big surprise in another couple of months as well. Katie would be happy about one of their surprises, but Jem's not going to be happy.
Ooh.
Is it the nemesis?
Jem looks a bit ill.
P45. You're going to be sending me your P60.
I don't know what it is, but I think I do know what it is now just by Jem's face.
Yeah.
I know exactly what it is, and I am absolutely pooping it.
So
I'm going to need to get one of those
wire
magnifying
macrame.
things.
We'll
Yes,
sort
you're
you
going
out.
to need them. You'll definitely need a magnifier. You'll be like this.
Yeah.
Definitely need a magnifier.
That's me in the supermarket looking at packets.
You say?
So yeah, was it about a month ago we came up? We had a meeting, didn't we? Just getting back to the story of how we all got this idea. And then I think I had a glass of wine, and Jem had a. Did you have I want to say whiskey, but it wasn't a whiskey, was it?
It was a limoncello.
No, it was a limoncello. That was it, a limoncello. And Katie, you didn't have a drink, did you?
No, I'm a good girl.
Yeah, see, she's the middle child. She's the middle child. She's going to be a good girl. But yes, so we all got together and we were like, well, what should we call ourselves? Well, what should we do? What should we say?
It took a while for us to figure it out.
Took a while.
We figured it out, and we were like, we came up with some cracking names. Names that you probably put on there. Annie, no, you don't have to solder chainmail. You can just, because it's strong on its own accord with the amount of links that's in there. But if you can solder some chainmail, it just means that you have to be very, very careful that you don't melt everything else that you've soldered before. But no, technically, you don't have to solder chainmail. Sorry, I'm just answering the questions as they go.
No, you're all right.
What's this one?
Nice.
Oh, there you go. Trying to watch your face. Well, the thing with Facebook is it's a little bit restricting when we want all three of us on together. So hence why we are now on YouTube.
Yeah.
But yes, so getting back to the story.
Eventually.
So we came up with the name I.C.E. And Katie, what does I.C.E stand for?
It stands for inspire, create and educate.
So that's what we're here to do, really.
And let's be honest, we didn't think of that on the evening. Fleur woke up the next morning and had a lightning bolt. Oh my God, we've got our tagline.
Well, what we said is we wanted to inspire people, we wanted to create and challenge, and we wanted to educate and show how we do things. And then I woke up in the morning, I was like, hang on a minute. We are I.C.E.
Yeah.
We are. Yes, what were we going to be called? I haven't got my notes with me.
I
can't remember what we were going to be called. Jem wrote lots down. I wrote down nothing. Really.
Oh my goodness, some of them were really terrible. I'm not actually good. We were going to be twisted, linked and hooked.
Oh yeah,
that was it. Yeah, twisted, linked and hooked. Yes, that was what we were going to be.
Yeah, because
it was going to be
twisted. That would make me a hooker.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. So that was what we were going to be: twisted, linked and hooked. Which, now when you think about it,
a little bit iffy.
Yeah. I'm glad we didn't go with it.
No,
I'm glad we didn't say, let's have a pop at that one. No, we're not doing that. And we came up with lots of different pictures and things like that as well, didn't we, of how we were going to. And then we just realized that we were overthinking everything. And the main thing is that we all try in our midlife to try and get on this screen all at the same time, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
And just bring a little bit of fun, a little bit of learning, inspiration, challenging each other, and you guys can challenge us too. It's it's just going to be a nice, fun community, all about you guys watching us.
It is. So if you have anything that you struggle with, anything that you have seen a picture of and you don't know how to start to design it, or if you are maybe halfway through and you don't know which direction for it to go in, then we have got a Facebook group, which is I.C.E Social on Facebook. It's an open group, so anybody can join. So just join the group, and then you can ask any questions in there. What we'll do is the middle child will write them all down and remind us what we're going to do.
Yeah, if you don't mind us using your picture, if you add a picture, then if you're halfway through something and where do I go from here, add a picture, we can take a look at it, we can pop it on here when we do our next live and hopefully help you out. Obviously you might have finished it by then, but you'll see different ways to all our different inspiration ideas.
So Malcolm thinks that we should be called the Three Musketeers.
There's got to be a word play there for three ladies who are of a certain age.
Yes, I think so. So Jessica would like tips for knowing if your stuff is good enough to sell. I wish I had a local teacher to assess my work, but I've only been able to be a virtual student of GEMS. Oh, bless you, Jessica. The thing is with I think with finishing pieces of jewellery off, and if you think that they are sort of like ready to sell, is the fact that when you wear it and people sort of like comment on it, and also as well if you put it through a bit of a stress test. So I usually tend to all new designs I wear for at least 2 weeks first, just to make sure that there's any flaws in that. And it's a little bit like when you're buying clothes, isn't it? The first thing you do is you check the zip. So always make sure that your fastening is like perfect, or the best clasp that you've got or that you can afford, and it's those kind of things, isn't it? What do you think, Katie?
Yeah, definitely giving the piece of jewelry a trial. Obviously don't be wearing your earrings and then selling them on, but no, but you can create your design, wear them, see if they get tangled in your hair. You might have little, especially if it's wire, you might have little bits and pieces that you've not quite the technical squish in a little bit, and once you've perfected all these little things, then in my opinion your jewelry is ready to sell. And then you've just got to decide where you want to sell it, how you want to package it, and all that other, which is, I find it quite fun, sort of going through all them stages, sort of finding out where you're going to sell and things like that. So over the next sort of few weeks, months, we can definitely sort of address a few of those situations.
Definitely, because I think that for everybody that does want to sell their pieces, there is a lot of people out there that make jewelry. There's a lot of crafters out there that make jewelry, but there is always a market for everybody's jewelry, I think. And we can talk about things like pricing jewelry and that, because I have very strict views on how things are priced and not cheapening your work and that kind of thing. So we can have a little chat about that as well. Obviously there's some legal obligations as well when you're working with precious metals. So yeah, we can definitely talk about all of that. But I think the thing is if you see let's say a pair of earrings, just a drop pair of earrings, and one person's earrings are slightly like not matched up properly and one person's are beautifully symmetrical, you will always go to those ones that are beautifully symmetrical rather than the ones that one looks a little bit
being consistent, having balance in your jewelry. There's quite a bit to think about. And I always believe that, I know it's fantastic having like one-off pieces, but if you make a piece of jewelry and it sells, in my opinion, it will sell again. So I think you should have a series of bestsellers, and then you've got your one-off sort of more unique pieces, and your bestsellers will be the ones that just kind of help money trickle in maybe, and then hopefully people will move on to your more unique pieces, and then you've gained a customer that way.
So that's when I used to sell a lot of my jewelry. So I used to sell big chainmail pieces, like huge big chainmail pieces with thousands and thousands of rings in them. And I always used to do them as limited editions, but then have the option of making them bespoke for you and adding something that makes it only your piece, because nobody wants to walk in a room and have the same dress on as the next person. We all want to be individual, or you want something that's like more sentimental, and I think that is a really good point, that it's not just a one-off piece, but it's bespokely made for you and it's bespoke to your needs, but it is part of a limited edition.
Yeah. See, that's different from sort of chainmail where you can add in, you can change things. Whereas a wirework piece, I know Jen will know, you can make a wirework piece, spend literally hours on it. And somebody said, oh, I love that, but can you just move that bit there? And at that point, I'm sorry, no, I can't.
Yeah.
So you have to commission a new piece. So that's why it's nice to kind of have the basics and things, and then like a little bit the same, but we can't actually on wirework add in once we finish. You know, it doesn't work like that, and a lot of people do believe you can.
Yeah, Gillian's just put, Malcolm came up with the 3 menopausal maidens. I've just designed him. Malcolm, we've got the gel to prove it, my love.
Oh, we have.
We've got the gel to prove it.
Just, middle child. No. We're not going there.
I'm proud to be menopausal. I'm proud to have got to an age where I can
do that, but
no longer worry about it. No, we won't be the menopausal maidens. We are ice. We are like
I did refuse ice maidens because it's been a long time since I was a maiden of any kind. I have been the young girl. I have been the mother. Now I'm sliding into cronehood, and I'm delighted because when you reach a certain age, certain things you're just like, and
do you know what I'm looking forward to? I'm looking forward to being like one of my heroines, which is Miriam Margolyes, and just say what the heck I want, when I want, to whoever I want.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to age disgracefully.
I think I've got another 20 years before I get to that point. My mother's at that point now. She's 70. Well, she's 71. And yeah, she's loving just saying what she wants. So I'm gonna enjoy it too.
Yeah, I'm just looking at comments. Gillian is having trouble squishing the ends. Now that's something we can definitely do in a little little demo.
So,
especially with those fine-tipped pliers that you had recently available.
Yes. Yeah. So
and I talking about tools as well, because we all like our different types of tools and things. And
I mean, I never knew these existed. I never knew these fine nose ones existed, and they're brilliant. Especially if you're doing small chainmail like I do, they're fantastic. Let's see. Norman, it's not Norman, is it? Because
that's Marisha.
It's Marisha. Okay, perfect. I don't sell my work very often, as I don't really want to have a business still working at 71 by choice. However, I don't want to give it away so that I don't undermine those who do. That's a really interesting point, Marissa, because I see this quite a lot on places like Etsy. So I am a metalsmith, and I used to sell like silver rings like this, and I would have my pricing sort of like equation of how to get to the price of what this ring is, and then you have people that just sell the same ring for what it costs them to make it, and then they don't hallmark it as well, and there's lots of other things going in, and then that does then have a knock-on effect when somebody says, oh, I don't want to pay that for that, but I have this workshop which needs heating and lighting and everything else to add into the equation. So yes, it's a really good conversation to have. I think we'll definitely add that to our list, because there is ways around it, and there's sort of like there's a lot of, how do you say it, compromises that you can have when you're selling your pieces. It's a little bit like selling like tutorials or things like that, isn't it? Kits, that kind of thing. People can have different opinions, and what I would say is there's never a wrong opinion in this group. No, we are all valid in what we say, and especially for yourselves as well. You're all valid for your reasons, and you're all valid for your opinions. It's not that we go, no, you're wrong, or I'm wrong and Katie's right, or something like that. It's just so we know. There's going to be no menopausal mayhem here.
Together like this. So we've got all our different opinions, and then we've got everybody's opinions out there as well. So it's literally like I said, nobody's wrong. There's no silly questions. Nobody asks a stupid question, because trust me, I will have asked it before you. So
well, I mean, but when it comes to like jewelry making as well, it's sometimes people think that they can't ask how to do how do you tuck the end into a piece of wire?
Yeah.
Because they think, well, they'll think that because I've been making jewellery for X amount of years, I should know that. No, there's always another way to learn it.
People still struggle even after like 5-6 years with, you know, something quite basic and simple, like a simple loop or a wrapped loop. But if you haven't watched not just a tutorial, but the right tutorial that works for you, then you're not going to know, are you? So I think
definitely
finding the right person to show you is a big thing.
And that's one of the reasons we wanted to do this, is because we have those 3 different flavors, those 3 different ingredients to bring together. The way that I do crimps is different to pretty much everybody else I've ever met. And in fact, it was a little bit of a bone of contention recently for me doing a class workshop with other people, because I didn't want to use a round crimp. I only ever use crimp tubes, and I only ever squish them once. So that's one of the things we wanted to do for you tonight, is to show you a couple of different ways with crimps. So you can find what works best for you, because with the best will in the world, I've got my little crimping pliers somewhere. You're all right. You can keep them. Not for me.
I can't wait to learn, because I've not seen this before, so I can't wait to.
Your way, Jem, and Fleur, do you want to do? I presume you're going to do your culottes, and
yes, I'm going to do some culottes. Yes,
I will do
a standard 2-step.
As 2-step, but I'm not making excuses for myself, but I can't find my crimping pliers, so I'm using a different pair.
I've got some over here. Do you want me to pass them down?
Check over.
Here you go, Katie. There you go.
Oh,
you grab them.
No, I need to buy stuff from you, actually. Yeah. So who wants to go first?
I'll hop in with Mrs. Simple.
Yeah.
Baby steps, how to make it happen. And I was asked recently if my crimps ever failed because I only squished them once. In 16 years of doing this method, I have never had a crimp fail on me. And that included when one of my friends decided that she was going to hang off the necklace from a ceiling fan. 8-year-old girl this was. It snapped the tiger tail, 48 strands tiger tail, and my crimp lived. So I will defend this to the end.
I was going to say.
Flick my camera over, ladies.
Yeah.
And any gentlemen that might be hanging out, I'm not sure. Gentlemen, you know what I mean.
Yeah, we know what you mean.
Right, so there's my little board instead. I've just wanged some bead onto some fairly classic beading thread. And I'm not doing product placement because I don't get paid by the lovely people at Beadalon. Although the lady that I do work with there sometimes is an absolute diamond. She's lovely. So I'm just going to grab a standard crimp cover and a standard crimp. Pop that out of the way. And I am going to probably need something to hook into. Here's a bit of rubbish that I've got on my desk. So it's not a nipple ring, despite what it looks like. It's a piece of thing to happen soon. So I'm going to put my standard. Have I got a crimp? No, I've not. Wait a minute.
Let me just 1 second, Jem. I'm just going to put you as the main. There we go.
Thank you, Treasure. So I'm going to pop on my crimp tube, and this is, I think, a 2.5 millimeter. It's something like that. Sliding it onto my beading material, and then what I tend to do is fold at the point that I want that to occur, and you can do that with pretty much all tiger tail or beading metal. Push that into the position, leaving a gap. And what I'm going to do is hold those 2 sections of wire. So you've got the end bit and you've got the bit that's going to go through your beads. I'm going to hold them quite close together, and I'm just going to squish that flat. There we go. So that's it. Squished flat, and I am pressing it hard. And you may have seen on a video a couple of years ago, I did that so hard that I snapped my favourite pliers. It was a sad day for everyone involved.
That is
now, somebody was talking earlier on about, do you know if your jewellery is good enough to sell? At this stage, I am testing the heck out of this. There is no way that that's going to cause me a problem. I've given it a proper test. What I do next is I kink up the short tail. You can see it there. And I'll bring in my flush cutters and I will slide them down against that crimp So I trim that away as close as possible. And I'm going to give that another squish just because belt and braces. And then what I'm going to do is bring on my crimp cover. So it's one squish multiple times and it stays flat. I'm going to put my little Pac-Man over the top of my squished crimp, and then I press the rounded side down against my finger. I'll show you that sideways. And you can see that my crimp is fully ensconced in the little silver Pac-Man. And then a number of bites of the cherry. I'm going to close those up gently, bit by bit. And I'm going to alter where that angle is. So you can see at the moment, there's still a bit of a mouth open there. So I will just put my pliers over at a different angle and just gently close that up until you get that perfect bead effect. That's how I do crimps. That's how I've done them for 16 years. I ain't changing anytime soon, despite the fact that I was told I must quite recently. Not gonna happen. So there we go. That is how I do my crimps, and it has not failed me. When you get to the other end, you just need to make sure that if you're brand new to beading, what I used to do is I used to ram those beads really, really hard up, get that next crimp in, and then my bracelets would be so hard that I couldn't actually bend them round the wrist. So always give yourself a little gap to make sure that you have flexibility in your jewellery. And I hope that that is a way that might help even one or two people. That's how I do it.
I'm sure it will.
It definitely will, definitely.
That's fantastic.
I wouldn't go that far. It's very simple. It's very bargain basement, but like I say, it's never let me down. The beading thread, 49 strand steel beading thread, let go before that crimp did. Another thing I will say to you is if I'm going for a very heavy beaded piece of jewellery, I will intersperse 3 crimps on either end between the last couple of beads. I'll leave space, and then I will bead closest to the clasp. Then I will have a crimp, crimp cover, another bead, crimp, crimp cover, another bead, crimp, crimp cover. It adds to the aesthetic, but definitely belt and braces. If you're working with precious gemstones, you don't want those little buggers on the floor. You want them around the neck.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I would say as well, when you're buying your crimps and your crimp covers and that kind of thing, try and go for something that's a soft metal. So if you see really hard brass ones, then they're going to be a lot more difficult, and if you've got dexterity problems, it's going to be really hard to get that really nice flush seamless, because the aim of the crimp cover is to make it look like a bead, and to have the same size bead. So when we're doing like pearl knotting, I always use a crimp cover to cover my last knot, and then I use a bead of the same diameter so that it looks seamless all the way through, and you can't tell the difference between your crimp and your bead. But yeah, try and buy crimps and which are
I normally use the Colots, but I'm going to show you the way that I would do a crimp tube. And to be honest, the crimp covers that I've got are those really hard ones. So let me just swap this over. Please work now. Did it work?
Yay!
Oh my
And it's
God.
perfectly framed.
At the back, is it the wrong way round?
No,
is it the
perfect.
wrong way round? It's not. Right. So my crimp covers, the ones that I've grabbed, because I don't normally use them, so I had to go searching for some, are a bit hard. So you will see that experience. So what I've done is I've already threaded part of my bracelet, and I've done one end, and I'm going to show you how to do this end. So on this one, I'm going to be using your crimping pliers. So
you found them.
Well, no, these are the ones that I don't particularly like. You know, when you've got your favourite pair. So, but these are not my favourite pair, but they do the job. So if I close these up, can we see the light through them? That's there, right? So here is my first part. It's got a little groove in it. Is that a bit better? Yeah, so it's got a little groove in it. So that's the part that's going to actually squish the tube and fold the tube. Well, not fold it, just make a little indentation in the middle. Then you're going to move down to the next one here. And that is the one where you're going to actually fold it. So what you do is also, a little bit like Gem's there, I'm just going to bring this forward. What I tend to do is I'll make sure that I've got that curve when I'm doing it, because that's going to give you that extra little bit of space. So I'm going to pop on my little crimp tube. I'm going to be honest, I don't know the size of these, but always go for a crimp tube that's slightly smaller than your crimp cover. So I've popped on my crimp tube. I'm just going to pop on a jump ring, and then I'm going to miss that jump ring and come back through my crimp tube. And I generally go through the next couple of beads as well. So you can see there's that little bit of space in there. Obviously, we don't want a big space down here. So we just make that curve and then just bring this in. Now, we don't want our actual loop to go too small. So I tend to just gently pop my pliers in just until I've got this small loop which matches the same size at the other end. And then I want to pick. Oh,
sorry, no, that's me. Sorry. Oh, there you go.
I thought that was me then. So now I've picked everything up. I've got my loop, which is going to allow my little jump ring to move around. And I'm going to pop my pliers on, and I'm using, I know it's going to be hard to see, I'm using the little part that has got that little bite in it. This is why I don't like these crimps, these crimp pliers. Everything jumps around. So hold on a second. Behave. There we go. Right, so I've got hold of it. I'm making sure, I'm just taking a look, and I know you probably can't see it, but I'm making sure my wire isn't crossed, and I'm just going to give that a little squish. Okay, and then hold on. Squishy, squishy. There we go. So can you see now? I don't know if you can see, there's that groove in there. You see that little groove in the bead? Yeah. So then once you've done that, you're going to turn it slightly on its side and go for that second phase, if you like. The second phase of these pliers, that little indentation, a little bit further down. And oh my gosh, I hate these pliers. They've got like a bigger gap. There we go, I've got it. So now my groove is facing upwards. I've gripped it at both sides, and then I can just go gently at first, make sure it's going the right way, and close that up. And now that little bead has folded in on itself, and it's made its own little bead. And I know that because I kept a little bit of bend in this, it's got some nice fluidity. I'm going to be popping my crimp cover on there. I will sort out that wire in a second. So you're just going to pop your crimp cover on there, just like Gem did, but mine's a little folded bead, like so. And then I tend to go in with my chain nose pliers, and like I said, this is quite a hard one, and just little nibbles, tiny little nibbles, I like to call them anyway, little nibbles all the way around until it comes together. This is going to take a few squishes because, like I said, it's one of those harder, more brass based. But what you want to do is keep going until you have a nice rounded bead. And don't get your thread caught in that side either. So we're just going to keep going until you're happy that that's all come together. So that's all covered now. All that little crimp beads covered. And then all I need to do is just make sure, this is the bit where you don't want to cut both threads. So you're just going to make sure that you've cut it really close, but not the opposite one, not the other thread as well. So like so. I thought that was going to be my moment then when everything went wrong. So you've got it nice and secure. That ain't going anywhere. and then I've got both ends. I've got another crimp cover to pop on there. But that's how I would use a crimp tube. And yeah, I think it's really nice and strong. To be quite honest, I have done it Gem's way before, never had a problem. But my preference, which we've all got our own preference, is to use a crimp bead and a Colot, if it was like this type of bracelet. So I'm going to move over and let Fleur show you how to do that.
Right, let me just add this camera to the stage. So apologies that this camera is the other way round, but there's not a lot I can do about it. I will get another webcam set up so that it will look better. But yeah, we're going to have to go with this for the time being, I'm afraid. So I am going to use a Colot, and what a Colot is, let me just pick it up and bring it closer to you. So it's like but there's lots of different variations of a Colot. So you can get Colots with a little hook on them like this one, or you can get them with like 2 rings on them as well that you can then just bead straight, like put your clasp straight onto. But it's basically a vertical crimp cover. So if you can see, it's got a little crimp cover, so it looks exactly the same as the crimp covers that the girls have just used, but this one has a little hole in the bottom, and that's where the beading thread goes through. So the way that these are used and held in place is again using a crimp. Now if you're using a crimp tube, just make sure that the crimp tube that you've got will fit inside your Colot, so just make sure that they're like for like. So I'm using just a small crimp bead. I like crimp beads, so again it's just another way of doing it, but I like a little crimp bead. So let me just pop that on and I'll just show you. So it's this tiny little crimp bead that I'm going to be using. Okay, so I've got some beads on my beading thread and a little bead stopper, so I'm going to work on just one end and then I'll place the other end on in a second. So taking my Colot, now this is the only thing that you have to like think about with a Colot is which way around you put it on. So do you go from the inside out or the outside in? So when it's on the end of a piece of end of a bracelet, I need to take my beading thread up through the middle, the hole in the middle. Can you see? Is my camera frozen? Oh, is it all right now?
You're okay now.
I'm okay. Can you see that okay? Do I need a darker background? Hopefully you can see it okay.
I can see it okay. What does everybody else
think? That's okay then. That's good. Yeah. So you can see there that it's gone up through the inside, from the outside to the inside with my beading thread. And I'm just going to either let that go all the way down to the beads if it was the end of the bracelet, or just keep it near the end. And then I'm going to take my little crimp bead. And like I say, you can use a crimp tube as well. It doesn't matter which one you use, as long as it will fold inside your crimp, your Colot. Now the other name for Colots are clamshells. So if you see them advertised as clamshells, usually clamshells are the same way around as a crimp cover. So they close sort of like the other way around. So these close vertically, so they're going to close horizontally, if you know what I mean. I should have got one out so you could see the difference. But basically all you're going to do is take your little crimp. Now you can use your crimping pliers if you want, but there's no real need to use your crimping pliers, and there's no need to go around your fastening or your clasp or wherever you're going to attach this into, because you've got the hook on there to attach it straight into anyway. So all we need to do is just attach the clasp, the crimp, sorry, onto the beading thread. So taking my flat nose pliers, all we're going to do is we're going to do like Gem did. We're going to hulk it out, and we're just going to squish it really tight. Okay, now the best thing about Colots is you can use multiple strands of beading thread going through just one crimp, because it's not going through anything and then back on itself. It's only got one piece of thread going through. But this is where you really have to make sure that is really tight. If it's not tight, the best thing to do is to cut it away and start again. Don't try and sort of like unsquish it and then squish it again, because it's never going to work. Then what we need to do is bring our Colot all the way up to the top, and you can see now how it's going to sit inside that little basket of your Colot there. So I can now go ahead and take my cutters and just cut away my beading thread, and I just leave like less than a millimeter on there. And you can see now, let me see how close I can get it and get it to focus. There we go. So you can see that my little crimp bead is inside here. And now taking my flat nose pliers, all I'm going to do is just gently squeeze this together. Now, what some people will find is that there's still a little bit of an opening on there. What we need to do is just go to the hinges at the bottom and give the hinges a little squeeze, and that will tighten it right down, so it then becomes a lovely seamless piece of finding. And then if we put the beads all the way up to the top, you'll see now how that now has got that finding on there. Now, when we do the other end, like Jem says, don't put too much pressure or tension on this, because if you've got really soft gemstones, it's going to damage the gemstones. Always make sure when you're making a bracelet or a necklace, just bend it into the sort of like the angle that it's going to be worn at, so that nothing is under tension, because the weakest part of any piece of jewelry, unless you're using gems technique, is this bit, is the end bit, where it is going to break. So just make sure that you've got a lot of movement on there. You don't want big gaps, but if you do have a gap in a piece of jewelry and you're like, oh gosh, I've now got a gap, all you need to do is put a crimp cover over the top of the gap. Just use a small crimp cover, place it in the gap, so it looks then like a lovely random metal bead. And if you've got enough gaps, you can have another one on the other side as well. So crimp covers are brilliant for that. They're great for sort of like filling in the gaps. And then all we need to do with our clasp, let me just grab a clasp.
One of the things I love about this way is that it's literally gives you a bead stop, so you can thread everything on, design everything, and then you're not worrying about everything falling off the other end. No,
at all. So you can either put your clasp straight onto the hook, like so. I don't really ever like doing this, and the reason why I don't like doing this is because when I was selling my jewelry, I'd always somebody go, oh, I can't do that clasp, it's too fiddly, and straight away that bracelet or necklace is never going to sell to that person. Whereas if I put a jump ring onto here, I can switch out the clasp straight away. So if somebody said, I don't like that clasp, I want a magnetic clasp, if I've got a jump ring on here, then I can switch out that jump ring, open the jump ring, take the clasp off, put the clasp that they want on. So it's very, very easy to do that. When I fold this down, now I have got a couple of goes at folding that down into a nice loop, but what I don't want to do is stress that metal, because it's not a thick metal, and we can't, if it breaks, that's it, we've had it, we've got to have to change the whole thing. But in essence, all we need to do is take our round nose pliers, and I always like to use my round nose rather than my chain nose with this, and then just encourage that down into a little loop. And you can see now that has completed that loop. And now you can add in your jump ring and then into your clasp. Like I say, you can put your clasp straight onto there. That's entirely up to you. But for me personally, I used to sell a lot of jewelry, and it would always be sod's law that somebody would say, I can't do that clasp, or I want a magnetic clasp. Then you've got the hassle and the stress of trying to change the clasp in front of a customer and under pressure, and it's always going to go wrong, and you're going to drop those beads everywhere. Now, the other thing I just wanted to really quickly say about crimps and crimp covers, don't ever crimp things like your monofilament. Use your crimps only for your beading thread, because crimps will cut through a thin material like a monofilament or like a silk. That's it.
Well, another reason for using a jump ring, Fleur, is that you can also add in lengths of extender chain.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
so it becomes multi-size then.
Yeah.
But don't forget, when you are making the length of your bracelet.
Whoa. Oh, going back to screenshot that.
I didn't want to be that close to the camera.
What did I do then?
When you're thinking about the length of your bracelet, and if you're going to add those jump rings, which I highly recommend, definitely sort of work out the length of your clasp, how many jump rings you're putting in. Otherwise, you'll suddenly end up with a bracelet that's a little bit too big.
Done that 1,000 times. Can I
But
just say as well?
the good thing about that though is when I used to do chain, well, obviously I still do chainmail. When I used to sell chainmail, I would always make my bracelets 8.5 inches long without the clasp on them, because when you're under pressure, trying to remember so at any time I could possibly have about 30 different weaves in my stand. And if someone said, I want that one, but I want it shorter, or I want it longer, trying to remember how to make it longer under pressure with the person saying, I'll be back in 15 minutes. And if they don't come back in 15 minutes, that's it, your sale's gone. Always as well, make them pay for it before you alter it, because then that's their size, that's then bespoke to them. But I'd always then be easier to shorten it than it is to lengthen it. But when you're doing your beaded bracelets, obviously you don't want that as well. Have 3 different sizes, small, medium and large, and just like Jem says, add a little bit of extended chain if you can. Right, I'm just going to go back through and just have a look at some of these lovely questions. One second. So Anna is saying, if I send you a picture of chainmail collar, would you be able to tell me how it was made? Yes, of course. Send it over to the I.C.E Social and I will have a little look for you. And for me, hate finishing off bracelets with a slider finish. I find the bracelet easy, but I'm paranoid about things being tidy. So you could use Jem's favourite technique of the leaves to finish your sliding bracelets off. Honestly, I tell you what, whatever I do in my life, I'm always going to be famous for teaching Jem how to make those leaves. Those leaves go on everything. She loves a leaf. She's like a botanist for macrame leaves.
I adore this technique. I will happily finish every macrame bracelet, necklace, slider bar I ever make for the rest of forever with Fleur's leaves. It's just one of the happiest things I've learned in the last couple of years is how to make a macrame leaf. I just wanted to add very, very quickly that for the most recent Relax and Craft box, which I've made the main project for, the first time in 15 years, that I've actually used a Colot to finish a necklace. I learned something.
It's like anything, isn't it? If you ask 5 people how they make a Victoria sponge cake, they're always going to say different things, but it always looks, beautiful. But it's nice to know other ways of doing it as well, because you never know. There might become a day when all you've got in your stash is that Colot and you don't know how to use it. It's great to learn different techniques. And I would say always try them all. It's like with the chainmail weave. If something looks difficult, try it, because you never know. It might be something that you find very, very easy and somebody else finds very difficult. So always try everything.
The one that you've just done, I did struggle with a pair of the earrings, and literally it was how I was holding it. I held it the different way, and the gap was there for me. So no, definitely.
So Jill likes the so I don't know if you saw, it would have been about 2 months ago, I did a YouTube live or a Facebook live, where I used some magic crimps from Spoilt Rotten Beads, and they are very, very interesting. Jem, you'll love them. I'll dig them out and I'll show you on the next one. I'll show you what they are, but they have like a little button in them, so it's like a round bead with a button, and you push it into it, so it then just goes into a round bead. It's absolutely genius.
That's
but
exciting.
they've been out of stock for a bit. Hate crimping, can never get it right. Gonna try all 3. Brilliant, fantastic. Really? Let's have a quick look. Roberta says, I always managed to break the crimp tubes. Not sure how, but they don't work well for me.
I've done that a lot.
That might be down to very, very thin metal crimps. I got some years ago because I was struggling with the heavy ones and they weren't working for me. So I got some lighter ones, went far too far. They were like tin foil. Every time I closed them, they just went smoosh everywhere. So it might be the crimp tubes and not you, my love.
So Gillian's saying, can you crimp on Griffin power cord? Technically, yes, because it's a thicker. It's not as fine as a silk, but I still wouldn't. I know people will crimp I've spoke to some seed beaders before, Joe Logie before, and said, can you crimp your fire line and those kind of materials, wildfire? And they say yes, you can, and it's absolutely fine. For me, anything that's twined or bound together, it's lots of different little fibers going together to make one piece of material. If you start to cut through those, it's going to be like a 1980s dramatic Hollywood film where you see it very slowly starting to Indiana Jones type of thing, and little bits, it will eventually it will cut through it if you crimped it tight.
Being a seed beader as well, I wouldn't crimp on fire line, you know, or that sort of thread, and including the Griffin power cord as well. I just think there's too many fibers in there. It's just easy to cut it with the crimp now.
You can, however, knot it. I tend to glue it or nail varnish it, and then you can use a crimp cover with caution. Making sure that you don't close it on that fine fire line, but you can have that kind of finish, but not always.
Oh yeah, I always put a crimp cover over my last knot of any sort of like pearl knotting that I've done. Always put a crimp cover over the top, just like I say, because the glue will always look a little bit dirty. Yes. So when you glue anything or you put nail varnish on anything, it always gets a little bit grubby around that part. And if you've got pure white pearls with a pure white silk, it's better just to cover that up so it doesn't, because your eye will straight away go towards it and you won't be able to get away from it. You'll be like, and you'll always look at it. And going back to, are my pieces good enough to sell? I think when you sort of like look at a piece and go, oh, still not happy with that, then it's a no. It's always a no. A tutorial on the macrame leaves. There is a tutorial on my YouTube channel, and so if you go to my YouTube channel, whichever one you're watching on now, it's one that's linked to this, and it is in the slide. It's in the gemstone bar macrame tutorial. So there's a few macrame ones on there, and the leaves are on there. Let's have a little look. I'm so excited to see what Katie Parker.
Look, my videos on my video. You only ever just
face to camera.
Maybe I'll have to put myself on the videos a little bit. I don't know.
Oh, it's nice to meet you, Kim. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Kim.
Let's have a look what everybody else is saying. You still in silver magic crimps? Yeah, they're brilliant. If you can get hold of the magic crimps, they're really, really good. The only thing that is a little bit limiting with the magic crimp is the diameter of cord that can go through it. So you can't put multiple cords through it. There is a limit on how much you can go through. And like everything, crimps do come in different sizes as well. So always check the size of your crimp that you're using to what you're wanting. So don't use a 3mm crimp. You've only got one piece of beading thread. Use one that's size specific. Can you use 2 crimps in a Colot? Yes, you can. If you've got small crimp beads, usually you won't be able to get 2 crimp tubes in there, but you can use 1 crimp bead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay, Margaret, my love. Oh, bless you.
Sending love.
You're not late. You're perfectly on time. I promise crimping on fire line where it will break. Yeah. You just have to be very, very careful.
If you're finishing off a seed bead piece, I would always recommend calm down, Jen. Seed beads. I would always recommend creating your own kind of loop at the end using your thread and your smaller beads, and at least 3 times around that loop, and then you can pop a jump rig into that loop rather than using any sort of mechanical finishing. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Kim's saying what a wealth of information between the 3 of you. Thanks for it. We'll be doing it every month, Kim. Every month we're doing it.
Every month. What's the last Friday of the month?
Monday, love.
The last Friday of every month. And we're trying to convince Jem to come onto TikTok and do it as well.
Yeah, would you all like to see us on TikTok?
Yeah. And don't give us, that's only a young person's platform. We're here for it. We're gonna go for it.
Trust me.
We're going to be like the full Monty for one night only. We're going to go for it on TikTok.
I think it might be a bit more Golden Girls.
I've heard Soft Flex have the best crimps. Never heard of those, Debbie. Are
I
they?
have used Soft Flex crimps. They work so well with Soft Flex beading wire. It's just a perfect partnership. They're really good.
Let's have a quick. On Relax and Craft, Katie mentions, oh, she's a good one, isn't she? Bless her. Yeah, no, thank you very much, Kim. It's lovely to meet you. And yeah, just if you could share this, what we'll do is obviously this will upload to our YouTube channels as well. And just tag your friends in there so they don't have to watch it live. Obviously, we can't interact with you when it's recorded. But you can certainly like drop comments in and that kind of thing, and we can soon answer any questions. And if it's on like Jem or Katie's, and they can always tag me and vice versa. You know, if it's questions specific to some, you have the limited amount of knowledge that I have.
If you haven't already, don't forget to join the I.C.E Social Facebook group. Yeah, join.
And if possible,
join in the conversation.
Yeah, and if you could subscribe to our channels as well, and that means then you've got like 3 bites of the cherry when we go live. You'll get 3 notifications, but if one is delayed for any reason, then at least you'll get one of them, if not 3 of them.
It's not 3 just all ringing a bell at the same time.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it is. So
with the I.C.E Social group, that is where we would love for you to leave us comments and questions. So between us, we do have a reasonable knowledge. I'm not going to like toot our collective horns or trumpets or whatever it is you toot. I can't really remember the idiom now, but drop your questions in, and if we can help, we will. If you have questions about what gemstones go with what gemstones, questions about colour, questions about finishing jewellery, we will always do our best. I mean, I can even give you a fail-proof flapjack recipe now. It's only taken 34 years, but I've got it.
Yeah. If we don't know the answer, one of us probably knows somebody who does know the answer. So we can always do a little bit of research on your behalf and find the answers for you. And
if it's something that's very, very specialised that we don't know, we may even get a guest appearance in. If we can bribe them to come on.
Amazing creatives. So definitely.
But they're not allowed to be young. They've got to be 50 at least. We're not having that. We're not
in the region of
these 20-year-olds coming on. No. Maybe you could give us a TikTok guide so we can enjoy it. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, we
definitely. Well, this is the way that TikTok goes for me and Katie. Katie says, "Have you seen this?" and I buy it.
Yeah.
So Katie just influences me all the time.
Was influencer. I'll say, "Have you tried this collagen?" Yes.
Yeah.
Is that what that thing was about that you sent yesterday? Was that on TikTok?
That was a gadget that I thought was for the face. Turns out it wasn't for your face. We'll just
yeah.
That was I was very innocently going, oh, it's one of those like ones that you do. No.
I watched
we're leaving that.
Explain it first, and I was like, well, it must. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marge is saying, I don't break the crimp tubes. When I fold them for the crimp cover, they open up again. I had to leave them flat and use a bigger cover. I've tried all sorts. We'll try these. Give it a go. Give it a go.
Yeah.
Like I say, usually with crimping pliers, you do have different sort of like stages in there, so you can get it squeezed up. But it's all dependent on your hand strength, as well. So, sometimes you have to pick your battles, don't you? And think, is there another way? And if we find different ways to finish pieces of jewelry, you'll be the first to know. We're going to be on a mission to find different ways of finishing off jewelry, just to help as much as we can, and test them out. Use us as your road testers.
I have an idea. I have an idea. Just get it all together, hold it, and then get Henry Cavill to just hold it round your neck and follow you everywhere.
Yes, that'll do.
There you go. There you go. What is a magic crimp? I'm going to see if I can find them.
No.
I put them somewhere. And when I say I put them somewhere,
It's a bit like when I say, oh, the other day, that could be anywhere from 20 years ago to yesterday morning.
Yes.
So when I put them somewhere, it could be probably in an old house somewhere.
Not even in this one.
I workshop for like the last 6 months, and I'm always saying, I'm still searching for them donuts. I found them this afternoon. I may have lost them again before it gets to Friday. When I see them again. But I did. In fact, I'm looking.
Shall I tell you something really funny that happened to me? So I am going on the trip of a lifetime in 21 days, and I decided that I would want to get on the bandwagon of making or having a bag charm. And then I saw some bag charms on a certain website and thought that would be nice, and thought, oh, that's a little bit expensive for what it is, but I love it. That's what I want. And it's this. Right. Do you want to know why it was expensive? Because I've got 50 of them. I didn't realize that on that AliExpress that it said, oh, we've got a UK supplier of this. I was like, bring it on, I'll have one of them. Yeah, I want to
see them all attached to your bag.
£12. Literally, I've got 50 of them. So if anybody wants one,
that is
I made a bag charm. I'm going to send it to you. Look at this. You having that on your bag?
I love that. Yeah. But when I say I've got 50 of them, look, they're literally, they're everywhere. They are literally everywhere.
People will get the bag charm in the boxes.
Yeah, well, I did think that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them apart, because we're jewelry makers, and this is the best thing. We're jewelry makers, and we can make loads of things. So I think what I'm going to do is take them apart, and I've got all these lovely little tassels and these little bag, like the little charmy thing here, the little clasp. So I'm going to take them apart, and they're literally made on eye pins. I do not very good eye pins either. But yeah. I'm gonna make a necklace. I could probably make a rope to tow the ship from the tender port with them.
Jill,
I've got that many of them.
That's what Katie does to me for jeans.
Sorry, say that again, love.
Jill's comments. That's what Katie does for me for jeans. I don't
do you send Jill TikTok recommendations, Katie? Katie's renowned for it, so I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say that's what she's done.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, I understand. I do send a lot.
Right, what's Kinsey? I tend to use clamshells and double crimp and size 1 crimp beads. I've also used the new crimp beads with the little plunger. Yeah, the magic crimps. Yeah, they're really good.
Sounds exciting. Is a size 1 crimp? Sorry for being stupid. Is that 1 millimeter?
I probably think.
Yes, so you would be able to fit 2 in. Yeah. Okay.
There's a blog on the Softflex's website. Describes everything you need to know to use crimps. Oh, fantastic, Debbie. Oh, I'll have a look at that. Yeah, Gillian, coming soon in the Relax and Craft box. Yeah, your very own Greek eye bag charm. Let's have a little look. Going to Kuala Lumpur. Oh, Ruth, that sounds amazing.
Are you going up the big tower?
First 50 euros. Where's that? What's the big tower?
In Kuala Lumpur. It's a really tall thing.
Oh, is it?
I don't know what it's called. That would make me smart.
Called Big Tower.
Big Tower.
Secret something.
We'll know who they're from.
Yeah, literally. I've got. Let me just hang on a minute, because I don't think you believe me as how many of these things I've got.
Teach you.
Right. This is half. Are you ready?
Oh my god.
1 second. I'll show you. Can you hear it all rattling?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Good value for 12 quid, I thought.
Hours.
The Patronus, yeah. Is that the Formula One team sponsorship thing?
Let me put it back on.
Motorsports person, but it sounds.
This is just 2 bags. This is 2 bags of them.
Wow.
Yeah. And if Mark's watching this, I haven't told you. This is the yeah, this is it. Yeah. So I had another thing that I did as well when I was buying some jewelry boxes, and when I say they were for borrowers, they were that small. So we've all done it, haven't we? Make me feel better. We've all done it.
No, I did that when I started doing workshops about 7 years ago. I got all the different. I got cutters, I got bent nose pliers, I got standard chain nose, and I got round nose pliers. 3 of them came through, 15 sets, really, really good. The round nose pliers came in. I haven't even got them because I just gave them all away. They were like this, like hobbit pliers, like what
for children.
You wouldn't give children a pair of pliers like that. What were they thinking?
I could have added them to a bag charm.
You could have.
I don't know.
Oh,
Pete's been up the big tower. There we go. Pete's been in the Pete's been up the big tower in Kuala Lumpur. Birthday prizes, yeah. It's the Patronus Towers. There you go, the Patronus Towers. Yeah. Did you already say that? Have I?
Yeah, you were in your
about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was in the cupboard. Right then, ladies, it's 8:15.
I know. And we before we started, I was like, what are we going to talk about? We haven't stopped.
I know. We were like,
come on, we always find things to talk about.
Yeah. But now we've got more people to talk to. It's so much fun.
So yeah, if you could like interact and obviously comment and give it a thumbs up, anything that will just help push the algorithm to let everybody else know about 3 crazy ladies that are showing you how to make jewelry. That's because that's basically when it boils down to it. That is what we're doing.
Every day of the week, one of us will be posting something that we'd like you to interact with on the Facebook group. That would be great if you could interact. And some of them are kind of like questions of what you want to see next time. So it'll give us ideas of what you want to see, what sort of demos you want to see, and what you want to chat about.
If there's anything that any of us have made that you want to find out a little bit more, a bit of a deep dive into, always feel free to ask. We might not remember how we did it. If it's a long time ago, I know I won't. My memory's gone to absolute pot. But the last Monday of the calendar month, live at 7 p.m. British time, hopefully on all 3 YouTube channels. Maybe coming to a TikTok at some point. I don't know because I don't understand it. They'll have to deal with it. It's just beyond me. But like I say, ask the questions. Any particular issues you're having, you want to know how to finish something off, maybe we will be able to help you.
So can I just ask Fleur, are you here on the 30th of June?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I may be a little bit more tanned.
I knew you've got your amazing holiday. Yeah, yes, that's fine.
Yeah, and I'll have made a tow rope with me, Greek eye full.
We want to see it. it. So
I'll be maybe in it all.
We might have a little challenge set for us. Yes. Maybe one of us could set a challenge for the other 2 or all 3 of us. But we'll work it out. We'll make sure it's something fun.
And when we say about if you're struggling with something or you don't like it doesn't have to be how to make a piece of jewelry. It may be a shape of a gemstone that you just don't know how to work with it. It may be something you think, I don't know how to set that. If it's a cabochon or it's a double-sided cabochon or a cut gemstone or something like that, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be a technique for jewelry making. It can be what would you put with this gemstone, or like Jem says earlier, what gemstones go together, or I mean, don't ask me because I think every gemstone goes with everything, but
just put them all together. Yeah, we've all bought that amazing gemstone and thought, wow, look at that.
Right, let me just let me 1 second.
And you're like, I don't know what to do with it.
I'm just going to put it's I.C.E Social is what you're looking for. So it's I.C.E I.C.E because Jem wanted the other dot.
Get the extra dots.
And then, right, my batteries are just about to go. Oh my goodness!
Oh no!
Never thought about that. I've got 9% battery because it's been feeding everything. So yeah, that is the thing. I'm just really conscious now that it's going to go. Oh, let me just
before we rock on. Then I've got a tutorial coming out tomorrow, and it's for something along like that, a monogram pendant or keeping. Katie, have you got workshops this weekend?
I have got a workshop which is booked for Friday for the last of the earring workshop course, but I'm going to rerun that soon. And I've got a workshop on Saturday, which is called the Sepharia Magna. Ooh. And it's got big gemstones. I really wanted to say big balls then, but they are big ball gemstones.
Yeah. Very good.
There is space on that one.
I've got run until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. If you buy one previous relaxing craft box, you get another one free. But that's something that's going on. There's not very many of them left either. This morning. Yeah, so if you can go onto the website and have a look, and if you go to the previous relaxing craft boxes, choose the one that you want, and I'll choose one for you as your freebie. And apart from that, just my usual.
That's brilliant. If you haven't got the I.C.E Social, it is down underneath the video, I believe. I think there is a link to it underneath, especially on Fleur's channel. There's definitely a link to it. Yeah. That's great.
What we'll do when we upload it to our channels, we'll also put that in the description as well.
Yeah, so it will be there. Thank you.
I've got 2 YouTube videos coming out as well this week.
Brilliant. Right, so thank you so much, everybody. It's been amazing. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I know you two are amazing as well, so thank you too.
I think I've moved it in the wrong direction, but it is all round. Lots of love to you all. We will be back really, really soon. Any questions, head to Facey.
Right, I'm going to try and end this live now seamlessly, which won't be seamless.
Yeah, we got on here. We made stop until the battery runs out.
Ladies, wait there, and I will speak to you in a second.
Okay.
Right, see you later. Bye.
See ya.